It's gonna be in window view so that we can keep the timestamp up. Basically, this is my workaround. We did this last time too. It's my workaround so that we don't get stopped for at here. Streaming now. Sorry for the delay. So no. Let's see. Doesn't seem like we're live yet. Oh, there we are. Cool. Okay. Yeah, so, okay. Basically, this is a documentary, just got released. It's been making the rounds around the festival circuit, but, it's finally premiered on PBS, so we're streaming it from there. Doing the same thing where we're having a timestamp up, but if you go to the link there, you can watch the video. Yeah. What do you know about Arthur Chu?
I know only what you told me. There are things about Gamergate, and there are things about Jeopardy.
Uh-huh.
And there are things about him being portrayed as not a white knight and also not a black knight.
Yep. Yeah. Well, just kind of, yeah.
Is it black knight? I forget. There's only white knights. Right?
Only not white knights, yeah.
What are, like, villains?
Assholes.
Assholes? Okay. But there's not, like, a obvious
there's not, like, a
colored chess piece.
Yeah, there's not.
Okay.
I mean, Black Knight, I feel like if you say that, people will know what you're talking about. Yeah. No, there's a couple of Jeopardy fans who follow me on Twitch. Hey.
Do you consider yourself a Jeopardy fan?
I do not consider myself a Jeopardy fan. I consider myself someone who is sort of thrust into this whole world a little bit. But, I mean, there's some people, right? Like, hey, Meower, how's it going? I mean, there's some people who, like, literally, like Jared on this Twitch chat is definitely a fan, right? There's people who, like, really watch it, will go on the subreddit, and, really make a big deal out of it. But,
in that case, would you consider yourself to be a fan of Atlanta?
Not the TV show, but I'm definitely a fan of, like, I go to this Atlanta subreddit and I have a good time. Yeah. I mean, this has some clips. I cycled through it a little bit, because it has some clips, just to check that it was working, and it does have some clips of him in Jeopardy, so, like, that's definitely going to be front and center. But, like, the main reason, I wasn't originally planning to watch this documentary, but the main reason I am is because it's, talking about a lot of questions about fame and identity and sort of Asian American experience that I'm interested in. So I'm hoping it's a good one. It's about an hour and a half, so.
What kind of Asian American does he consider himself?
I think he's Chinese.
Okay, but does he consider himself, like, Chinese? Or does he consider, like, in the nebulous Asian American?
Well, we'll find out.
Okay, I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out. He's second gen, though.
I forget what that means.
That means your parents are straight from China, but you're not.
You're born here?
You're born here. Or, actually, I'm not sure if you're born here. What? If you're born here, you're second gen. Aren't you?
I don't remember.
Anyways,
moving on.
I haven't watched a documentary. Oh.
Nice, PG. Does that mean our thing is going to be PG?
We already said asshole on stream.
Well, you're allowed to do that once.
Just once?
Yeah, if you're not directing it towards someone. That's how PG works. No, that's PG-13, I'm sorry.
A mind game? It's already a mind game. I'm gonna turn down the volume a little bit.
Is this what it looks like on the inside?
Yes, no, that's literally the sound stage.
Arthur Chu became a celebrity, winning big on Jeopardy.
What news? I don't know what news you're talking about.
This Asian on Jeopardy is one of the worst.
Well, look.
What is Total Biscuit?
It got worse.
No, he's a video game person.
Celebrity to speak out on violence against women.
You know, a lot of people were surprised that I would take like controversial stances as a good little Asian
Oh, no.
person in the spotlight, but I did.
Who is Arthur Chu?
Rip.
Next on America Reframed.
I heard that Morgan Freeman also did some bad stuff.
So, the Kentucky primaries ran
Yeah.
2 days ago,
Yeah.
and for one of the House districts, the Democratic one who won the House
Yeah.
primary, like, died of a heart attack that same day.
Holy crap! Rip.
Or I think it must have been a heart attack. He was like 47 and large. But
Rip. Not a good day.
well, Kentucky has a lot of House representatives.
Yeah.
We also have too many counties.
I'm gonna full screen this. It's just gonna annoy the crap out of me. Oh, this is already a good start. We got the
Oh, but is he a boy or a girl?
oh my god. Video full screen?
Doesn't that need to keep the timestamp on?
Yeah.
Well, can you like do the little like biscuit thing in the center, maybe?
I mean, I think this is better already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll just adjust this. Okay. All right. Well, we've already got the Twitter feed on top of the thing.
Ah, he uses underscores.
Yeah.
Does the cursor go away?
Oh, sorry.
Thanks.
Have you combed your hair? Jeez. I don't think it's that sad to be sad over a person you've never met, especially like when they're really public about like who they are, and you.
I mean,
you know.
it's not unreasonable to get sad over anything. We're emotional beings.
That's fair.
Like, you prioritize what you value and what you get emotional about. Everybody does that differently.
Like, I continue to be really confused why people are like, you should censor the people who are putting out the internet hate. Because in some cases, right, like, they're already making these statements in a public manner.
Yeah, but you won't be able to label it as PG.
No, they blur out the names, not that they blur out the slurs.
They also blur out the slurs.
Like, blurring out the slurs makes more sense.
There's definitely a sense in which there was a time when I really didn't want to be associated with my family, and I didn't want to be associated with my ethnicity. Where this like lie, this delusion of like I can be a blank person, I can be just like my opinions and my.
I'm not black. I'm OJ.
I won't have a race. I won't have a gender. I won't have a history.
Is that a Kanye quote?
That's an OJ Simpson quote.
Oh, that's an OJ Simpson.
Ultimately, I think that's a.
Okay. Wasn't.
That project is just
It could have been a Kanye quote.
It could have been a Kanye quote.
Thing to be trying to seek out.
I mean, a lot of people are saying that Kanye is like doing the same thing now. So
Again, it could have been a Kanye quote.
right.
Are you shy? I don't know. Not really, right? 我的中文不太好。
Same.
Same.
He was in high school. He forced himself to become like how do I say popular or outgoing. Yes. I saw him struggle at times.
Ah, yes. The classic putting your children on a pedestal.
Also, what is this framing?
Did you gain any weight on this trip? I don't think so. You don't think so?
Should we turn this into a tag yourself drinking game?
I've never had my parents say this to me.
I've had the inverse. Why are you so skinny? Eat faster.
Yeah.
I've always been an angry person. I've always been a person who has cared a lot about fairness and about who's being mistreated by whom, and the motivation to like stick up for people, to like take down bullies.
When was that an art trend?
You know, very
Like a
core to
stack
who
of
I am.
monitors.
I mean, I think it's just an aesthetic thing. I also don't know why he would let himself be framed in this light. This is bringing me some freaking flashbacks right now.
To
Oh,
Jeopardy?
it did not look this glamorous to walk down the sound lot like this.
She's a self-described mad genius.
No respect for
Self-described?
Arthur was so egregious villain, yes. Arthur was easy. That's the thing. Arthur was yeah, that's the company. Arthur, what are Texans? Right. You have big leads.
this 30-year-old from
What is this? What is that?
Creative vision from the director is what?
This framing is odd. What is this? What is this?
The strategy of the game is not just playing offense or playing defense. $5.
$5. Don't feel confident in sports. All right, here's the clue. Eddie Jacqueline, Herb Brooks, Conn Smythe. I don't know. Correct response, what is hockey?
Who made these animations?
Think about all like the salaries that went into each one of these animations.
Who is Arthur Chu? It's very American. Go to the link. Go to the link and you can watch the video and sync up with the timestamp. But like also this framing of like putting him on like this against his TV background and putting him in a white T-shirt is just like a very unflattering.
That's one of those weird things about our language.
It took a little
Oh!
while for Arthur to get the audiences to warm up to him because
You're not
he
helping.
approached our program with an attitude. You know, a lot of people were surprised that I would take like.
Yeah, what is it with like the geeky Asian uniform of like the white T-shirt that's ill-fitting?
But I did.
Like I think it's very kind of inappropriate for the casters to put them in this light and like with the backdrop of like the TVs and stuff like that.
Well, I don't think that's for Jeopardy.
It's not for Jeopardy, but like
It's for this documentary.
yeah, but like why would they do that? Like it's a very
Depend-
unflattering light.
To paint him as a geeky, unflattering person.
Yeah.
Who is Pope
Like-
Francis?
You are
It-
correct.
But then like why did he agree to that?
This Asian on Jeopardy is one of the worst human beings.
Because probably he has a hand in the creative direction of the story. Like,
The Asian guy on Jeopardy is such a. I don't know your wife does. That fatty face. I hate you, Arthur. Chu.
Oh, rip region restrictions. Rip.
rip.
This is in all caps. Arthur Chu's. Stop being a fatty McFat and leave Jeopardy alone. Let the white people win. You cheating.
Yep.
Cheating. Sorry.
If you're manipulating it to let white people win, wouldn't that be cheating?
No, but it's K because white people are supposed to win because it's an American TV show.
Celebrity.
America.
And I'm glad to note that he is milking it for all it's worth, and good for him.
Blink twice if you're under
To the degree that some people embraced my image on Jeopardy was very much like, oh, here's this young guy coming into this American institution and upending what it means and what it stands for. And here he is on his Twitter account.
All right, see ya, can I?
Going rogue.
Yeah, Meower agrees that the visual thing is pretty off. It's always weird when adults remind me of the kids who bullied me in 8th grade. Jeez. Oh, I got one of those. That's a good one. TV static, what century is this? Oh, that's adorable. That is a bad hairstyle.
Oh no, he's in timeout. Why is he in timeout?
Quite often in my life, I've been the only Asian American in the room.
Set tag yourself.
Something that's, like,
Same.
defined me. For a long time, I never really forgave my parents. They kept me sheltered. They kept me a weird kid, right? They discouraged me.
That's like unfair.
All the stuff that they saw as negative.
Yeah, especially growing up in Ohio.
Pop music.
It's quite probable that he would have been the only Asian American in the entire school.
That's like very unfair
Mm-hmm.
to say.
And like,
It's okay.
a
People can be
huge
bitter and
amount
say rude
of
things.
Just what made it hard for me to like exist in the world, to like communicate with other people was that sheltered background. When I had the opportunity to like watch TV and to like get on the internet and learn about pop culture some things, I threw myself into it.
I mean, that is like one thing that I was sort of surprised is that like if Jeopardy represents American culture, then like being an immigrant and winning at it is like another thing.
I knew the lessons I could be caught out as being ignorant of, the more safe I felt. And I think my parents got mad because, from their perspective, it was like when I was exposed to mainstream culture, to Western culture, that's when I turned against them.
A cute kid. Rip.
When was this? When was the documentary filmed?
Like a couple years ago.
When did he do Jeopardy?
A couple years ago.
Oh, like relative to each other.
This film was filmed while he was competing.
Oh, no
at
wonder,
the Tournament of Champions.
No wonder he's so bitter.
Wait, like they filmed the entire Tournament of Champions, and then like a couple years after that for the Gamergate side.
Oh my god, Arthur, there's a hole in the elbow. Please don't wear a shirt with a big hole in the elbow on national television.
Okay.
Same.
I can tell a story about how that's my lucky hole.
Oh baby.
My shirt with the lucky hole.
Lucky elbow hole.
They got nicer rooms at the hotel. Or is that their house?
I bet it's a hotel room.
And that's a huge deal.
Yeah, it's definitely a hotel room.
That's the last
They got a nicer hotel than we got.
from Jeopardy.
Well,
Everything is up in the air.
maybe they're real adults.
Money isn't.
No, like the hotel they like sponsored everybody.
Money isn't the
Oh, I
end
see.
goal.
But they got
The
nicer
goal is
rooms.
The ability to do what we want.
Yeah, maybe because they're real adults, not college tournaments.
Really?
I've had huge dark circles under my eyes for like 7 years. It's just a function of never being able to get enough sleep.
Tag yourself.
I didn't do anything. It just looks like I just like drew in dark circles under my eyes. It's ridiculous.
Good luck. Here we go.
Philosophy 16.
Answer. Here we go.
What is egoism?
Oh no. What is cynicism? Cynicism. So you're back at 0, but there's plenty of time left. Go on. Arthur.
Or the Navajo?
No. Diana.
We're the Hopi?
That's it. Arthur.
What are the Montes?
No.
Oof.
Julie.
What are the Terrys?
Terry. Yes. Okay, Arthur. We come to you. You were in 3rd place, and you wrote down who was George II. No. Wrong rap. It's going to cost you how much?
Rip.
6,400, dropping you to 0. 15,700 as our new champion is crowned, Diana. And Arthur, you're going away with just a little shade under 300,000. So tomorrow,
This framing is super weird, like super saturated. Rip.
I liked the idea of being the winner. Because I might as well admit it, that persona of some genius who always has a perfectly crafted strategy for how to cruise through life is not me. There's a tiny handful of things in life I've tried that I haven't failed at. The one success that really matters to me is that my life somehow still hasn't left me after 8 years of being with a chronically
Rip.
unemployed and unemployable social misfit.
Rip.
Winning on Jeopardy comes as a distant second.
His wife left him.
I started deciding to do exactly what I was told not to do. I talked about gender, I talked about race, I talked about the sickness in my own culture, I talked about the anger in myself. But that angry jerk is also who I am. And while I had the opportunity, I want to be an angry jerk in service of making the world a slightly better place rather than a worse one.
That's it?
Well, it was an excerpt. Or you meant like his...
I see.
Yeah.
No, the social media shares.
Oh, yeah. This is like, it's like, you know, it's like building is what it's trying to say.
I have level secure and the door is installed, then Mycroft will be able to come out here, and none of the other cats will be able to follow him, and he'll get the solitude that he has always craved.
The Dremel,
Moving
the
out.
wrong tool for every job.
And he had to go audition for Jeopardy that day, and so I had to handle everything. Honestly, I was so angry because it seemed like this Jeopardy audition probably was not going to pan out, just like the other one hadn't panned out, and that it was just this reaching for this dream that I knew he had and I wanted to support him in, but was also dealing with I was working full time as well, and I was also disabled with chronic pain and fatigue. But I did care about him a lot. He's self-conscious and
Rip.
That is not a good thing to be diagnosed with.
I was
Yeah.
pretty bad at making friends as a kid. And then when I was about 11, I started writing poetry, mostly fantasy and science fiction poetry. I'd say that now writing is a great comfort to me, actually, because you make up a world and you control everything in that world. Every time I write, it's sort of a victory over despair. It's me proving that I haven't been completely destroyed by this illness. I would really like to have the energy and focus and everything to be able to finish this novel.
I didn't realize he's like really just like
Ohio.
yeah, seriously. Oh man. I mean, yes, like it's really frustrating for the Jeopardy part because it's just like it's literally just like a couple days, and like that's all people know. These whole movies are really great.
Arthur's in the 3rd grade, and he has been studying music for about 15 months now. Great talent. Enjoy those songs very much.
There was a while where being religious was part of my identity, was part of like, I don't care about what the world thinks. I'm divinely different from the world.
Pretty great.
Steeped in an idea of like sin and redemption. And I still am. That's part of how I see the world. Are you the kind of person who thinks the world is messed up and it needs to change and you want in whatever way you can to be part of that change? Or do you think everything's basically okay and therefore you just kind of want to, get along and buy a big house and, have an okay life? I've chosen to say I'm dedicating my life towards changing the world I think is fundamentally screwed up instead of just trying to, have a happy life.
Scott, late tonight, the NFL announced that it will move the game to a new location that has yet to be determined.
Breaking overnight, a deadly shooting near UC Santa Barbara. The Santa Barbara County Sheriff calling it a planned mass murder. The shooting rampage left 7 people dead.
Is the shirt backwards, focusing on the wrong things? The white shirt.
Oh. It's probably just extremely ill-fitting.
Yeah. Like it looks like an undershirt.
It is an undershirt.
Like again, when I'm actually surprised they're not going more into the internet hate and like just transitioning.
Are you sure they're not continuing along that vein?
Well, like very little focus on Jeopardy actually, from what I was expecting. Because that is most of like.
We male nerds grow up force-fed this script. Lusting after women out of our league was what we did. But the overall problem is one of a culture where instead of seeing women as, people, protagonists of their own stories just like we are of ours, men are taught that women are things to earn. I've heard it from acquaintances, I've heard it from friends, I've heard it come out of my own mouth in moments of anger and weakness. Because in other words, words I was a coward and had the privilege of ignoring the problem. How much longer are we going to be in denial that there is a thing called rape culture and we have to do something about it? Listen up, fellow self-pitying nerd boys. What the is wrong with us?
Why is 300k your number of choice?
Because it's like order of magnitude or whatever. I don't know.
We kind of locate a lot of that in women. That we look at rejection by women.
This description: actor, comedian, and culture blogger.
His shirt is better fitting now.
He didn't need to get laid. None of us nerdy, frustrated guys need to get laid. When I was a bleep with rants full of self-pity and entitlement, getting laid would not have helped me. He needed to grow up. We all do. Just finally, 30 seconds, Arthur. How'd you grow up?
That's the $1 million question, isn't it?
Right?
There's no magic switch. There's no magic pill. I don't know how to help Elliot Rodger if he could have been helped, but the first thing is to just listen. Listen to women and listen to their perspective instead of making it about you.
Like, right now, this is, like, all the story that I knew. I guess, like, I'm not really sure. It doesn't really have a thesis. I'm very surprised it didn't go more into Jeopardy. I'm kind of surprised they got Alex Trebek even in on this, even though he said very bland statements.
I met Eliza when I was a sophomore in college.
I think this is just characterization of who is Arthur Chu.
I see.
We were in a nerd club together.
Like, before you can get into, like, the context of what he's saying, you have to understand who he is.
Yeah.
And he was kind of a jerk. And
right now, he is somebody who can lift more than I can.
He was not dating material. He was kind of a crappy person sometimes.
Same.
Yeah, I was definitely a bitter nerd, believing, like, if the world were fair, then smart people like me would be on top, and popular people or socially connected people would be on the bottom, right? And I was totally bought into that. It was at Swarthmore as well, where like I was confronted with like this like hellish thing that a lot of geek girls go through because there's a bunch of geeky guys who have this chip on their shoulder about how they deserve to be loved, by women. It was when things were going really badly for me when I basically, I didn't graduate on time and I was basically like dropping out of school, that she said she felt she needed to reach out to me because she wouldn't get a chance otherwise. And so that was when, like she was like my rock during the, like I was surprised that she was coming out and being so nice to me.
What is this transition? What is this?
Kids these days.
Oh, is that actually how you proposed to her?
Wait, you did not!
Oh my god!
You did not!
Oh my god!
Are you serious?
Ugh! Bunch of nerds.
Kids these days. Despite him being like years older than you. Kids these days.
Think about that because it was a long time ago and yet some of it still feels very fresh.
This guy is not wearing the correct shirt with
like
the correct
I
tie.
did a very good job of being alone. That I needed somebody to, hold me accountable, to keep me sane. I don't need to feel like I'm totally in charge of my own life. That my need for that has screwed up my life a lot.
I'm surprised you can still be very bitter at your parents, though, but... Like, this is also
I
really...
don't think his word choice necessarily reflects
current belief. Yeah.
This is the year of Arthur Chu.
Either his beliefs at the time, or...
Maybe 3 years from now, maybe that'll be the year of Eliza Blair. I don't know.
You reach me as a very pointy person.
That's fair. Like, being pointy unintentionally, maybe. Or, like, where he's not meaning.
Prickly.
Prickly, yeah. That hurts to see that proposal.
I thought Meowr was going to sleep.
No, Can I went to
that
bed.
was Can I.
Oh my god. Oh, this is relatable. This is very relatable. This is me running into the C-cell secretaries.
Hey, this is Arthur.
But it's also very.
Oh yeah.
It's really weird to see him
Yeah,
just in
all
like
the things that come
pretty
together,
middle of nowhere, small town
It
America.
just started out
Even though it's
as kind
Cleveland
of
and just like a couple miles out
pop
of
culture
Missouri.
kind of guide, and someone said like on Twitter,
Where is he right
it's
now?
like Arthur Ashe would
Cleveland.
become the ombudsman
Cleveland is
of
not
culture
small.
or something. But
Why is he living in the middle of nowhere and it looks like farm and random diners and stuff?
Because that's where the nice houses are.
Okay.
Like, if you want, like, a house with a backyard and pets, and you don't want to pay through the nose, you live in suburbia. And that's what suburbia looks like.
Suburbia doesn't look like
That's
that.
what suburbia looks like.
For
in
me?
Ohio and Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
We did window company out there, Window Nation.
And my dad is still
A 15-minute drive and you're probably in downtown.
Just to get ahead of your day job,
Okay.
you should become a lawyer, to get something steady, that security. But there's a certain hunger to not be dependent on other people, and I'm trying to sort of put together a plan to do that. I mean, I've got a pretty self-contained setup, so yeah, I mean, if you need me to just like bang out, just like these are the specs, I need a read on this, I can do that pretty quickly. Yeah, I've always been a writer, even before anyone was paying me for it, so I plan to keep on doing it.
Tell yourself. That's how I do interviews.
I can't do interviews unless I'm at least upright.
I need to be upright. I can't do it on the bed. I'm just amused.
Did you know? Got 2 articles, not 1. Banged it up damn good.
Where's this? Is this a house?
Some friend's house. Probably.
It's nice. That house and the tiny diner, that's suburbia.
Yeah. It's Midwest suburbia.
Okay, I guess southeastern suburbia is very different.
Okay, you have, like, the historical district suburbia, you have the rich people suburbia, and then you have, like, all the other suburbias.
Okay.
And this is everything but the first 2 categories.
Okay.
And Ohio doesn't believe in trees.
Oh, that's a big difference. Atlanta has trees.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ohio doesn't believe in trees. Oh, that's adorable.
These are some very cute pictures.
Dad, before we had you, at my sister's place.
Dad was disciplinary.
See?
Prickly.
A very pointed, prickly person.
Prickly.
I think he meant that even lovingly.
Very stubborn
Just
people
phrasing. Wow.
become very emotionally invested in being right, and that's why we didn't,
Same actually. I was the mom on this one.
art sciences in college because I really didn't want to. I wasn't, I didn't take any pleasure in it. I turned into this huge fight.
You know, he talked a little bit about how, like, you don't really grow out of,
Wasting my time, wasting a lot of money for prestigious.
or you don't automatically flip a mindset of, like how you see other people.
Yeah.
How you see, like
Like
how to
women
think
or something.
mindsets.
Yeah.
You also don't immediately flip a magic switch of realizing until in the rare case that someone actually calls you out of it. Like, people who start off, like, doing angry rants and think that's a reasonable way to phrase things, continue phrasing them like that, even if they're not, like, actively angrily ranting.
I see.
It's like toned down ranting.
I'm gonna move back a little bit because I'm kind of curious what you're saying.
Oh,
Yeah.
prickly.
Oh, sorry. But I see what you mean. Yeah, about like just continuing to use that framing, even though he's not like meaning it intentionally. But it's like,
Like, I can't tell if he's meaning it intentionally.
yeah. Zumbini trying to finish up exams. She was here last week on the Overcooked stream.
asking.
Oh, I see.
There was a big issue over whether I should major in art sciences in college because I really didn't want to. I wasn't, I didn't take any pleasure in it. And it turned into this huge fight about how I was like throwing my future away and, wasting my time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sick. I did not get sick from you, Doc.
one of the kids on my TWB team that was going to transfer out of MIT staying at MIT.
Nice.
Maybe I helped.
Because they're a teenager. They know something they don't want to do, but they don't know what
This is
they want to do.
this is the classic Asian like.
And this umeboshi. It's a very sour
Oh, it's the
plum.
plums.
And at that time, if you have some
They have pits,
someone
so there's the
who
pit
knows
spittoon.
how to train yourself,
This is the classic Asian thing of like it's good for you.
like have
We know it was good for you. Oh, that's cool. It's a cool picture.
That is so excessive.
It's a cool picture.
That is so excessive. It's a very nice shirt.
These are some really nice photo albums.
Yeah.
Like actually,
They like
though.
took scrapbooking seriously.
Yeah.
I remember my aunt tried really hard and then gave it back for 3 years. What is this?
It was very salty.
So
Yeah.
yeah. It's Silicon Valley's tech conference. Same.
Nice, that sounded like a shoe.
Same. Oh, cool.
I don't know what to expect from the crowd. I don't know. Like, I don't even know if I'm gonna succeed in meeting anybody here. Including my dad, who's been out of touch all day.
And that's pretty mind-blowing. Do you feel like the state of the media is worse than it's been? No.
I feel like I should know who this person is.
He was the Joker in Suicide Squad.
Because it's transparent, and I think media has
This was also in Requiem for a Dream.
No, no.
In Dallas Buyers Club.
Everyone is the media now, and that's a great thing that's changed. We wouldn't be.
I like the third act when Arthur realizes his dream of becoming a Power Ranger.
So thanks for the question. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Robert.
It was actually the subtle timeline of all the weightlifting.
I see.
Thanks so much. Bye, guys.
Please welcome comedian Arthur Chu.
Like comedian is such a weird.
The topic that I chose, to quote one of the great sages of Saturday Night Live, Tim Meadows, is, does the internet have a lady problem? Or those 3 words that everyone loves to hear, sexism in tech. Has it been good for society, for our relationships with each other? Has it built bridges, allowed us to have new modes of expression? Or has it been bad, alienated us,
Ew.
be addicted to our phones? Obviously, sexism was not invented with digital culture. Sexism goes back at least.
Oh, if you want to not be on camera, it's the brown couch. Yeah. Yeah, you just like run across.
You have to be on camera for like a time.
Yeah.
Leveraging the social power you already have.
I'll eat another one.
Men's existing
See, they're pretty good.
They're very salty.
Yeah, the traditional way to eat it is with rice.
technology to empower people.
I already had all my carbs up front, so.
Empowering to a degree. I'm very happy about stories I hear about technology empowering.
Yeah, you kind of missed the context, which was just like briefly going over Jeopardy, and then like Gamergate. Or Gamergate hasn't happened, but Elliot Rogers' shooting happened, and then Arthur Chu's getting more like famous because of that. So this is his first speaking engagement.
What's the Elliot Rogers thing?
Huh?
What's the Elliot Rogers thing?
UC Santa Barbara shooting.
Oh. And what's Arthur Chu do with this? Sorry.
Speak out at toxic masculinity in technology.
And then since he's got the Jeopardy fame, like people like.
Here with who is Arthur?
People really like Dick.
Yeah.
What's up, man? Jeopardy champion and here at Tech Man.
What?
What?
San Jose. Speaking of who is Arthur Chu, I brought you in.
Oh, that
That
oh,
one.
The whole.
And I was like, being a dick? Yes.
Yeah, I was like,
But
I was
also
like
dick,
masculinity,
maybe.
like.
Like, maybe.
I'm trying to leverage it for good. I ran 15 minutes of fame from a game show, and I've always had a lot of things to say. And I'm trying to, do it well. I'm trying to get a
It sure it's getting like progressively better fittings, but never like quite on there.
The most important thing about
I was teaching a TWB team
trying
this
to do in the
semester,
world is
and one of them was on Quality Gaze, and we just silently, we knew both each other was on Quality Gaze, we just didn't acknowledge the whole semester, so it's the pleasure seeing you undermine your authority.
But like also like maybe like his prickliness is like what's enabling him to be like, oh, I have this platform, I'm really going to aggressively use it now.
Like, I think if you look back at like the women suffragettes, they're viewed as super shrill and like unpleasant.
Yeah.
But they're also kind of what made it happen.
Right.
Like, it's not a pleasant process.
Yeah.
In general, the louder you are and the more combative and controversial you are, the more discourse you generate.
I see.
So, yes, he's using that to his advantage, but he also sort of suffers from the own controversy that he helps generate. So it's sort of unclear whether that's his goal or not, right? There are ways to achieve your objective without being prickly. It's just harder.
I see. Which is kind of the same thing what you were saying.
A little bit. Well, again, it's an interesting line to cross because your reputation is attached to your name and attached to your fame.
But also, like, he was cast as a villain, right? Of, like, the
Right.
infamy.
I like to write books. I like to speak.
Right, which
Yeah.
gets him into the national spotlight. But there was probably, sort of, in an alternate timeline, a way to get there where he doesn't have the characterization of being a prickly person.
I see.
And in part, getting his opinions a little bit discounted because of it.
I see.
Right. Which is, again, like what a lot of sort of women speakers have, because the easiest way to get attention put to you is to be prickly.
Mm.
But the easiest way to get your opinions discounted is also to be prickly.
Mm.
Oh, he double taps.
What, double tap on which part? Oh, on each part.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
No, you gotta double tap.
Yeah, communication. I'm really appreciating the, like, flash to parents. I don't know.
I mean, you can't just lead on with the thread of he's very bitter about his parents and not put in more context of who his parents are.
But, like,
they're important.
Yeah, no, but at the same time, also, like,
I do appreciate the scene.
No, I appreciate it, but it's also, like, very weird to see him be this prickly in front of parents, because definitely, like, me and my parents, like, if there's other people around, we'll, like, even if we, like, just had an argument, we'll, like, put on a face to put on for the outside world, right? And so that's one of the things that's really, like, wow, like, saying something like that.
It's always weird being in, like, tense, like, family situations that you're not part of.
Isn't part of his characterization that he doesn't have any other face? That he is just a prickly person?
Maybe. Yeah.
How are they recording these family conversations? I've always wondered this about documentaries.
Yeah. It says, isn't him using his personality as a part of his shtick another aspect of game theory? It says Doc. And then Meower is also pointing out, the classic Asian thing.
Yeah.
The fighting for the check.
Fighting for the check.
Yeah. And Meower also says that this is infamy that starts from playing Jeopardy incorrectly. Well, I mean,
know about that.
I mean, that's straight up why he got villainized. Because a ton of people got pissed.
Yeah. But I mean, like, the same sort of people who would do that and turn around and use that to their advantage are also the same people that probably are just prickly people.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're presented with a choice.
Of, like, you either, like, take on that title.
Yeah.
Right, like, if I was more #aggressive, I would, like, have gone on Twitter and, like, talked with the haters and... Right, like, he, like, would literally just, like, do one-liners against them. About it. Go for it. Do it.
What?
Do it.
She just put one in...
I thought you were gonna take another one.
Yeah, she was eating one.
Yeah. I would have fought for that check.
Yeah. No. What you do is just steal the check.
The classic go to the bathroom. Oh, I love these home videos. Home videos are
92! Wow.
I've stopped fighting for the check. Even less. Like, I fight for the check less now that my income is more stable, actually.
Interesting.
Because I feel like it's more like I realize it's a gesture the other person is doing, and, like, they know, like, they're not, like, pitying. I know they're not, like, pitying me or something.
Now that I have an income, I actually fight more because,
like,
I can actually do
offer,
it.
but I don't fight more.
I see.
Like, I claw less.
Is he?
Yeah.
I'm gonna move back a little bit. I kind of missed it.
I mean, the way the gesture works is you fight proportionally to your respective incomes, right? The game is already decided before you start playing, right?
The worst thing that a kid can feel is like you can't trust your parents not to like go off the deep end. You can't trust your parents to not lose it and become emotional and
What?
do things of the later.
Kid.
And I never had that feeling as a kid. I always had this feeling like if my dad lost his temper, then everything would go to hell.
Like, I think part of the reason we're not seeing that characterization is that, like, you know, having the, like, very clean face for, like, outside people. At least that's, like, definitely the case for my family. What happened to your knee? They call you Peach-chan.
Peach-chan? This is a tomato!
Zumbini-chan.
They also asked where Zumbini-chan was.
Surgery, spare parts.
Wait, what? Who's having an affair?
You wanna go back?
Sorry.
The goss! The hot goss!
The hot goss!
And do things of the later everyone. And I never had that feeling as a kid. I always had this feeling like if my dad lost his temper, then everything would go to hell.
I eat raw tomatoes.
They're delicious. How many children are in this household?
3 or 4.
It was like this ridiculous charade. You know, we kept pretending that things were okay until finally, like, it all fell apart when my mom discovered that he'd been having an affair, and, you know, that it was just the end of it. Like, they formalized it. We didn't formally know.
It's unfortunate that they were that young, but not young enough.
Was there ever a sense of like, you betrayed me as my father?
Definitely the period of time where my dad was just like going away on business trips to China and where he was refusing to get a job in the United States and was just like burning through our life savings on his business ventures in China. That felt like a betrayal. You know, that seriously harmed our quality of life and for what seemed to us like no rational reason.
And
then
so,
later on finding out
Like, that's very reasonable rationale as a kid.
yeah. Not only, like, having an affair, but also supporting the family in China, too.
4 children. Oh, 4 children times 2, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of children.
Coming back and giving gifts and, you know, giving lots of, like, helpful advice.
Yeah, my parents divorced when I was 2 for around the same reason, but I don't remember any of it, which is kind of nice.
Because of the affair. Yeah.
Yeah, Dad had main fam and side fam.
And was burning
and both fams thought they were main fam.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awful. Okay, so now the bitterness makes sense.
Yeah.
In context. It, like, isn't quite
justified,
but it makes sense.
I mean, both of them thought they were...
Both of them thought they were main fam. Either that or they thought they were the only fam, which is probably the biggest insult.
Achieving these things by getting a good job with a pension, and a lot of people chase that to their detriment. You know, our idea of what's important doesn't match with what actually is important.
Yeah, this makes a lot more sense. Where it's also just like... you know, then it's like, how are you giving me marriage advice, like marriage advice when you like
I don't see like why he's
cheated
doing
on
so
mom?
much, whereas it's also just a movement thing. Uh,
Whoa, their faces are so different.
I think what he's doing
Whoa.
is commendable. I just personally
Is this siblings?
don't
Yeah.
see the value in it, but I mean, totally support him if he wants to be doing that.
They look very different.
Look, that one, the brother has dad's face, and the other two have mom's face.
I see.
But their mom is really skinny. So that's where the huge difference comes from.
But it's because he was the firstborn son.
Rude.
And also just like the firstborn.
He really wanted to be like a scientist, engineer, something like take after his footsteps. So Articelli compromised and majored in history with a minor in economics, which is somewhat more practical than like theater. But Dad still was having fun with it. So
it was.
And he would like actually go on about like in acting, it's like anything that has a subjective component to it, you're not going to succeed at because America is a racist country.
can you please say that he's wrong though?
Can you please say that for the camera?
He would say like, maybe it will change in the future, but I don't want my kids to have to be the ones to suffer to, you know, sacrifice to make that change. You know?
It's fair.
Yeah, I mean, he took it too far, but I think he has a point.
That's a very practical
There's a
approach,
reason why
though.
there's a lot of Asians
It doesn't work if he doesn't believe in it.
where success is measured by quantifiable metrics.
It's a very rude comment.
Oh,
They're
I'm a
all
research
prickly.
scientist. I'm a technician in a lab down at Women and Infants, which is kind of the premier hospital in New England for women and newborns.
Dad talked about the importance of planning for a career. He actually said it doesn't matter so much for Sharon that she's a girl.
I told Dad about it and how angry I was, and he was like, "Oh, Sharon, you didn't know I was joking?"
Yeah.
We got backtracked like
What?
5 years later. When Arthur was doing news interviews and stuff, Norbert and I would look at the videos and be like, "Why can't Arthur figure out what to do with his hair?"
Same.
Same.
It probably involves taking a shower, because that's what's required for me.
Back?
Well, JK dad.
You should use gel for this, though. If you want to smooth it down.
Yeah, that's sort of the like overarching repeated conversation Grandpa and I have, just because in his time it was true.
Yeah.
Like for women, you could get a job, or it was definitely optional.
College application form for him, and the space to declare a major. My grandfather wanted my dad to go into computer science, and he wanted to check CS, but he made a mistake because it was in English, and he checked the one next to that alphabetically, which was chemistry.
Oh.
And that's the whole reason that my father went into chemistry. My father would never second guess or, you know, change something that his father had written.
Same.
Not same.
A big part of my struggle was like looking at his life and thinking, well, he doesn't seem that happy. You know, he's gotten everything that he supposedly wanted, the six-figure income, the PhD and all of that, and he's still struggling against himself so much of the time. And I just feel like
What a mistake to never back down from. The computer science versus chemistry one.
You know, what's interesting about all this is I did spend a lot of time sort of feeling this inferiority complex towards people, especially
Oh,
Asian
an
Americans,
actually fitted item of clothing.
on the path that you're supposed to be on.
It's because the siblings
are
helped.
there.
I think you're doing something really important, something really cool, just by being out there and saying, you know, I have the right to be heard, I have the right to be different, I have the right to break rules. To me, that's something Asian Americans haven't done enough of, that we don't have enough political activism, we don't have enough people speaking out and being different, we don't have enough people making culture.
I think it's interesting his siblings are just like, I don't really get this social justice thing, but I'm glad you're doing it. You like it.
You know, it takes a lot to put yourself out there for social. It's really like nose to the grindstone.
Yeah.
And always the is it worth the
accomplish our job descriptions.
is it worth the individual sacrifice?
I'm a guy who won a lot of money on Jeopardy. I'm going to turn that into my own voice and my own career, talking about the things that matter to me. And the only thing that I would encourage you to do is whatever you do, wherever you
I understand
go,
also how it's like probably a lot more fulfilling of like because he's been writing before, and then like if his day-to-day job is like insurance, right? Like it's probably very fulfilling to finally have this platform to like speak out and like getting invited to things and stuff, right?
Yeah, like finally catharsis, doing
Yeah.
what he wanted.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that insurance is what he wanted.
Yeah.
Also, what is happening?
After party for this like Asian American summit, presumably. He's gonna write some stuff about Trayvon Martin now.
Several U.S. cities have been gripped by protests against the controversial acquittal of George Zimmerman. He was cleared of murder charges after shooting.
You know they're bringing back another trial for this guy?
How?
I don't know. It was just like on the news that he has to appear in court for. I think it was the judge filed a new. I should look this up later before I say something dumb and wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like potentially double jeopardy, but.
Yeah, again, I should look this up later.
As a graduate student, there was an incident where he and a friend were walking home and were suddenly confronted in a parking lot by a group of apparently intoxicated students in a car, driving around them in circles, shouting threats and racist catcalls. My father waited, and then my father picked up a rock and said, "I'm counting to 30, and if they're not gone by then, this rock is going through their windshield." Luckily, they tired of the sport and peeled off around when my dad hit 15. There was a moral to this story when my father told it to me. This is not your country. You can live here. You will never, ever belong. I resisted this lesson. I fought back. I binged on America. I stuffed myself so full of America I was bursting at the seams with America. Everything I could find, every TV show, every radio station, every book in the library. History, literature, politics. I swallowed it all, as much as I could. I swallowed things that tasted foul and struggled to keep them down, but I did the best I could to prove I could.
Gotta love the long duck dong.
But none of that was real. That was all in another world. This is not your country.
I think it's really interesting that I got like the exact opposite lesson from my parents. Especially my dad, who like absorbed as much of American culture as he could for like pretty much the same reasons that Arthur Chu did.
It's sort of interesting, I think.
I was in DC.
Like, for example, 2018 versus
World
2012
Fantasy
versus
Convention.
2004.
And maybe I'll find
like how different
kind
the
of,
popular lens.
some kind of medication or
is.
something that'll
Yeah.
help someday, and maybe I can.
Like, I think like the 2-year difference
I mean,
between
just-
being born in
I just
92
wanna
and
write.
being born in 94,
I
95,
just wanna-
like
Hi.
made all the difference here.
And I was talking with one of my friends about the difference of having 4chan be your main source of community in middle school or in high school is a very different experience.
What during what period? How long of a buffer do you have between that period of your life and becoming an actual adult with responsibilities?
No, like, is it during your formative years, or have you like been able to develop critical thinking yet?
Yeah, but also like develop enough buffer time afterwards to like get over that phase of your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Section 105 plan means when your employer reimburses all your health.
Like, can you imagine leaving college when
Well, I
for
mean,
when
that's the kind of thing that you would need
4chan
to be
was
involved in
your
too,
community?
because you need
Yeah.
an employer, right?
Yeah.
So that's something that we can.
It's just drawing up documents that should stand.
Talking about insurance. Good lord.
Okay, well, you're the one with his contact info, so you're gonna have to forward it to me.
What are you doing flopping on this thing with your coats on? What is this? Wintertime, never mind.
It's very frustrating when there's some flesh left on the lid. You're trying to get it off, but it doesn't, so you're just like sucking at it, but that doesn't do anything.
The amylase in your...
What?
The amylase will eventually break it down.
Or you know, grab another one.
Or the type of person that eats like ribs like to the bone.
Yeah. Too cheap for the heating bill.
Welcome to one of our first series of about 3, we hope, that's going to focus on masculinity and feminism, misogyny, nerd culture, race, and much more. I want all
Big agenda.
to go ahead and give him a warm welcome. Thank you, Arthur Chu.
My name is Arthur Chu. It is not as famous a name as LeBron James, so if you're here and you're not at the queue and you're not glued to your TV, that tells me that you are unusual people, countercultural people. You have taken the road less traveled, and I thank you for that.
What is this music?
What is this drama that needs to happen?
And world peace.
I'm just a regular guy that's led to a very different kind of life.
What is this music?
Gotta drum up to the climax here. We're like
It's
2/3
all
of the
gonna
way through
come
the
falling
movie.
down as this starts affecting his personal life more deeply into the movie.
I think this is a pretty amateurishly made documentary from what I've seen so far.
Probably.
It means someone who's intelligent, socially
Yeah.
awkward.
I mean, that's his
I
slide.
mean, that's his slide.
They didn't have to use those cuts. Right? Like, no, it's
Yeah.
within their full editorial capability to, like, not have used those slides.
Yeah. That's fair.
But it helps their narrative to show exactly the slides as he presented.
I mean, like, it's very clearly like, oh, their marriage is failing right now.
Yeah, as shown by the music here.
And this framing of his wife in the background.
In our model that we can't escape, that we're all part of our society, men are seen as the competitors.
They really didn't have to use these slides.
These are really bad slides.
Guy's definitely not a graphic designer. He needs some beep-ass magic.
This music and those old people on screen. Yeah. Oh man, it's Anita Sarkeesian. Oh man, we're going to the game.
You know what's an interesting framing of this documentary? She never talks. She's talked in the beginning, but in the entire time that he talks about women, there's no clips of her.
Yeah.
Suddenly, everyone reacts with much more intensity, as though some kind of unspoken rule has been broken.
I just want to say thank you because I was preparing to come to this house reading some of your articles and
Why are you so sure? Why are you standing on the stage? What are you doing?
I'm seeing you in front of like huge what do you call like coliseums with tons of people. You speak so well.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is weird that his wife's not.
I think that's part of the framing of this documentary. What's the legend of Darth Plagueis?
I see. Power dynamics being on stage with the height difference.
Class, race, that we can make them go away. That if technology got to a certain point, we'd all be so prosperous and happy that these things wouldn't matter anymore. And
I don't think that was ever a promise of the internet.
that's just completely not true.
I don't think that was ever a promise of the internet.
I think that's an aspect of the internet that people hoped would
Happen.
appear.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment, but I don't think like anyone was saying like increased networking was going to.
Well, as a prickly person, perhaps it's difficult for him to understand that people want to have things versus people have things. Maybe that is the climax of this relationship thread of this documentary.
I'm trying.
Oh my god.
Dude.
Oh my god.
She's right there.
You've got a national microphone right now.
Oh my god.
Who knows if it'll last, but you seem to be a regular columnist now.
Emma wants to talk to me about the proposal after Thanksgiving.
Oh my god!
Can I help with that?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Because she's literally a writer.
Continue your own support. I mean,
yep.
That's what I can do right now.
Oh my god.
Yeah, when I saw your text, I didn't really understand.
Oh my god.
Thanks.
going on? I'm not paying attention.
She's like, I guess I can run support, and like he's just ignoring her because she's a writer.
She's a writer, and his platform is literally like having women in the picture.
And he's not having her in the picture.
She's his wife. The story of a very flawed person. A very human person. But man.
Raising good kids is a popular choice. Ugh.
I feel like it's very
What?
important.
I don't know. I missed some context.
Right now, you're living the life you want to live right now, and you're not living entirely for the future. Because I know so many people who are
Wow, there's so many Taiwanese.
like,
wow.
You suffer.
Okay, Taiwanese, or did they come over in 40?
It doesn't work like that.
Self-identified Taiwanese.
Yeah, seriously. This is a Taiwanese Americans conference.
Does that make him Taiwanese American? Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. What is this? They try to get the ping pong balls out?
Yep.
Same.
Same. Not same.
Eliza asked what she could do to make the world a better place. But like she's like a writer, right? And like her husband is literally like
I think neither of them are in a position where kids would be a great choice for either their marriage or for themselves.
Or for the kids.
Or for the kids. They seem to already both be sleep deprived.
But not in his emotion, and not in his
And empathy deprived.
Right. And then he has a terrible
Oh, and communication deprived.
something changes.
that mohawk.
And all of that anger that he has.
Also spoiler alert, they get divorced.
I mean, that was like the third of the way through the documentary. We knew that.
They talked about that already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your mission?
Who's watching this again?
And regardless of what anyone else thinks, regardless of how important other people think you are, you have to know that for yourself, and everything follows from there.
I'm really confused that there's not really a thesis to this documentary. Like, it just seems so far it's just like a bunch of clips. And
Wait, there is a thesis. The question was, who is Arthur Chu?
Oh. Okay. Thanks.
Like, this entire thing is building up to, like, this is a flawed person who has ideals. This is how he came to, like...
I forgot the documentary is literally called Who is Arthur Chu?
To grab these ideals. Like, there is a thesis here. It's just not the thesis you wanted.
It's not.
Legit.
Yeah.
You want you old chicken?
No. Like to cook?
Yeah.
Yeah, later.
Okay, well this expires, it's sell by May 26th.
Okay.
It's been in the fridge for a bit, but it's all sell by May 26th, so it should be fine. I won't have an opportunity to cook this.
Okay.
You should just eat it.
Okay. Sounds good. I'll cook some for the party then.
Yeah. We should cook it soonish.
Alright, thank you.
Yeah, it was in one of the, like, vague subtitles like those, or flavor text like those, where it says that they got divorced.
Oh, I see.
It's a little hard to keep track with the chronology.
As a gamesman, I am gripped by a scandal called Gamergate.
Oh my god. A gamesman? How is this a metric? Gamergate tweets? Oh.
Gamergate involves some male gamers harassing women who are speaking out about the portrayal of women in video games.
Yes, this is true. Arthur Chu is still a person. He's still alive, so this is correct. What is happening?
It turns out that having the mainstream media try to explain what Gamergate is like a bad thing.
No, I was more complaining about the 2008 style graphics. It was like a hexagonal butt, and character lady was slapping butt, but also character lady is like the same like low poly art. That's kind of hard to tell what it is.
I mean, consider this, mainstream media isn't an expert on any of the things they're like reporting on. So whatever they're reporting on is going to be flawed, and you just see it because you're like more of an expert of gaming than the other topics you've seen.
Very, very critical of some of the prior
I would argue that the threshold of reasonableness that you would expect from mainstream media for most abstract concepts is higher than the one they presented here.
Yeah.
Like when they present the economy, like yes, it's wrong, but they also have like some semblance of this is the bottom line. distilled.
Okay, what you're saying is you just don't think that there should even be a presentation of size on this. It should just be presented basically with your point of view.
If you do any factual looking into what has actually happened, do factual reporting on it, then the two sides are not equal. Just letting two groups of people talk is not empirical reporting. Okay? If you want, you can sit down and go through the actual factual.
See, like, this is, like, also hard because for Gamergate, it's like, aside from the Zoe Quinn thing, there's, like, everybody has their own fact or whatever.
I want to go through a few
Well,
things. Just
you
the
know,
minority of the stuff that you've said that I actually
I
find
mean,
worth
quoting
following
Santayana
up
here,
on.
like, if you, like, did the same thing with alt-right, offering them the same amount of platform seemed like the same argument, right?
I mean, it is.
Like, it's the same argument over and over again.
You're asking me about something that's literally almost completely irrelevant to Gamergate.
Yeah. Gamergate being explained in general is a challenge.
The director really likes their blue filters. To look angsty.
To look pasty.
You're not gonna address the fact that he's in a white undershirt in front of a literal background of TVs.
Ill-fitting undershirt,
yeah.
to boot.
In unflattering lighting, too.
I mean, again, blue filter pasty.
Yeah, whatever. A lot of that is concern trolling. So
Concern
that's
trolling.
true. I mean, I would just say that was one of the worst 24 hours of my life.
Like that spelling. Like, and then you got the Gamergate trolls on you. Yeah. Aren't you glad I showed you that Gamergate chart?
No.
I don't even know what that means. Oh, it is a backwards shirt. There's a tag around the collar.
What is the point? You know, even if I were to get into this, now we're starting a big conversation about me and random crap that I tweeted, which has nothing to do with anything that's actually important, but it's a way to, like, use up my energy and to turn attention to, like, me and to, like, make, you know, put me in the spotlight where I didn't want to be. And I just, like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is not worth it, you know, and it's too easy for them to manipulate
Social activism in a nutshell.
because I get angry. I'm not a person who thinks a lot about owning stuff or having experiences for myself, but I always had to feel like there was something more that I was contributing to, and that's been a driving thing for me my whole life. Oftentimes wanting to end your own life comes from just, like, not being able to answer the question, what should I live for? You know, what am I supposed to do? Why should I be alive?
So weird. Why was that shot in there? There's a water bucket with a fly floating in it.
Dramatic imagery.
The enemy of life.
More about who I'm fighting for than who I'm fighting against.
Wait, where are you living that you have oranges in your backyard?
California.
Oh, okay.
Screwed up happening, you know, I'm going to be the person whose initial reaction is always going to be to jump in and try and stop it, you know, and to do that from a place of, like, anger, from that. And, you know, it may not be the best thing, but it's who I am, and I've come to accept it, so.
I really hate this direction.
You know, that might be who you are, but it's also not your best self.
It is not easy to be with Arthur, and I really appreciate Eliza. And I hope Arthur
Also appreciates Eliza. Oh.
And that's his mom?
Yeah, that's his mom.
With her
She's probably relieved that he found a wife that is just like, man, you're
Sometimes
fucking
I
up
think he
my
is
son.
too busy to be
Wait, what?
doing a lot of things he thinks is important.
His wife also has chronic
Sometimes
pain.
you have too many years to go back.
She has ripping awful chronic pain. If I were myalgia, I wouldn't wish on anyone.
He needs to find the value of his life.
His wife divorced him.
No shit.
Yep.
But not yet.
Not yet. Not yet in the chronology.
Yeah. But yeah.
But like, yeah.
Dude. Oh, this was probably creative direction.
Yeah, this is creative direction. Yeah. They're both like real tired and zoning out on a train. That's fine.
Oh, that's pretty. Why?
I think they're in China.
Okay, but why?
Are you guys Filipino? Try again. I think this is China. Like,
wait.
Yeah. Oh, they're in Taiwan. They're in Taiwan.
Okay, but why? Also, what?
I don't know. Rando Twitch people.
Us or them?
They can't see this.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because otherwise you get that dank DMCA.
Yeah, I only have the timestamp showing and a link to stream the episode.
You can't really understand me without understanding my childhood, which means you can't understand me without understanding my parents. And you can't understand my parents without understanding where they came from in Taiwan.
Identity.
A lot of what I've done in the past year has been like trying to accept that, trying to like really understand and, you know, not rebel against it, just accept and understand where it is I came from.
Oh yeah, you're right. Prickliness. What?
And, you know, trying to find some kind of peace with that.
This is like a much more reasonable stance.
Oh. Yeah, I was about to say prickliness and Taipei 101 as a building does not beget each other.
Oh, yeah.
I've been there. It's pretty.
Where is this?
One of the bigger temples and Buddhist temples in Taipei.
I don't think we went to temples.
We went to one because it's architecturally pretty.
It's very red. Did you know red
China.
Did you know red is good luck in China?
Yeah. Especially when you write it over and over in gold lettering.
Yeah. So even though like
the dichotomy of them singing a Christian hymn in a Buddhist temple, or maybe this is just straight up a restaurant.
I think this is a restaurant.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that would be. But also like, I was like, wow, I don't have any feels about this. Yeah, what's this freaking Jeopardy thing?
参加美国的一个节目，英文名字叫做 Jeopardy， 他拿了11次冠军。
This kid?
oh, I want that! I want the seaweed!
听懂听不懂？
Same.
他很好看的哦，所以小时候我们跟他讲最多中文。对，可是他小时候不太愿意讲中文。他那时候觉得他跟我们讲说，美国人为什么要学中文？
You know, I feel like the lack of tact was inherited.
No, I mean that's sort of like Asian in general, like a lack of tact.
No, I mean his particular flavor of lack of tact.
Oh, I see.
It's like definitely inherited.
I see.
Forgiveness would
Like you have some in general, like some like buffer points because you're family talking to family, but wow.
I don't know. Like my dad was definitely like, when we had our family reunion, everybody was like, "Hey, you walk funny. What's wrong with your back?" And he's like, "Oh, there's something wrong with my back." And then he went, to the doctor and found out there was something wrong with his back. But that was like
yeah, that's like within the buffer points. But that particular like
example. Oh, okay.
That particular conversation was, why would you do that? Or why would you do that to a poor kiddo?
Alright, move back a little bit. Oh, I guess I'll wait. Cause... Oh, sorry. Sorry.
英文名字叫做 Jeopardy，他拿了11次冠军。Yeah.
I want that seaweed.
You know, you could go ahead and buy it. You can make your dreams come true.
听不懂。
一点。
ちょっと、すみません。ちょっと。Like, I don't know, I feel like this is a story that my dad would tell. And I would get kind of mad because I would think this would be like unreasonable, but I think this is like, I don't know, I think this is fine.
I don't know about that one.
Forgiveness would mean
the first part, either the first one or the
tag,
second one.
The tag's right.
Yeah, the tag. Why are you doing that?
really willing to reestablish a relationship with him, and I don't know that, you know, for me letting it go means like just deciding, hey, it doesn't matter that much either way.
Like, remember, this is particularly the father who divorced the mother.
Or cheated, yeah.
As far as forgiveness,
it's unclear who divorced who.
Got kicked out.
Yeah.
I can achieve that. I don't know if I want to. I see him for who he is. I think I see him for who he is. As a flawed person who was trying to do his best in the way that he knew how. And me continuing to be resentful about it is
Tag yourself.
Me, you know, that it would just make things worse for me. So I just, you know, let it go.
Yeah, why did they go to China? This was like unclear. They were just like, now we're in Taipei.
It is sort of unclear, and it's also unclear whether Eliza's divorced him at this point, and they both went to China.
So looking at her blog, she has not divorced him yet.
In present day? Or?
I read her blog before watching this, and she talked about visiting Taiwan together.
Oh, I see.
Before talking about the divorce.
Okay. Where is this?
Yeah, Christian cemetery in Taiwan
is
weird.
I didn't know that those existed. I mean, sure, they must exist, but.
95, 51. He single-handedly raised 5 of us, and we all grew up.
Oh, it's interesting. It runs in the family. That's very uncommon.
Yeah, my grandma's super Catholic. I'm not really sure because I think when we visited the graveyard, the cemetery, didn't have any Catholic markings.
My father's beloved person in the world.
Yeah, seeing crosses there is strange. Yeah, super weird.
Single tap.
Hearing prayers in Chinese is super weird to me.
Really?
Yeah. Even though my grandma was super Catholic. Yeah, Yan Cat shirt.
There was a combination Taiwan.
Heyo, cultures. How's it going?
Korean Calvin church in my hometown that every so often I had to attend because it was just like Taiwan gathering, but also happened to be a church ceremony too.
No, yeah, we were pretty distant from the Chinese community in Atlanta because it was very coded with, because it was very closely tied to the church. Like, the Chinese school was related with the church.
Yeah. So we went there for some time, but not for the church thing. We'd always just show up when the food showed up.
Reasonable. Yeah, we're doing well watching this documentary. It's very different from what I expected.
And that was significant. You know, my grandfather thought it was a really big deal. He really pushed my dad to come to the United States and get a degree here and, you know, get a better life here. And so whether I would turn out to be a success was kind of like the goal of the whole project, the whole immigration project, right? A real home.
Tag yourself.
The gold immigration project.
When you have a lot of high expectations expectations, or you reject those expectations, whatever. When you were supposed to be the golden boy, and I was supposed to like get an awesome job out of college and like start making it because of the world, and instead it's like, I just had to confirm the fact that some part of me wasn't able to do that, wasn't able to commit to doing that, and I didn't do that. And I had to like decide what my life was about, and I had no idea.
What season is it that you're wearing those clothes in Taiwan? What?
Must be winter.
How are you not dying?
It must be winter.
Like, even during winter time.
I mean, it's definitely not summer.
Well, yeah, otherwise they would be dying. You wouldn't want to wear more than
The easiest
bare minimum.
thing to do is to just say, screw you, I got mine. I want to make a lot of money. I want to be left alone and do the things that I enjoy and forget everything else. And it just seems like I can't do that.
What is this parade?
Just like, I'm a busybody.
Given that I don't know the time of year.
Or something, I keep feeling like there's something more for me to contribute or more for me to do. Online and offline, but I'm always volunteering for the next thing, wanting to do the next project.
I'm very confused why it's just like...
I can't even like defend it and say,
footage.
It makes me a better person.
Well, this is the part where you go back to your roots and you explain your family's
I
heritage,
see,
right?
I see.
Maybe it's just flattering yourself to think that
We started a new chapter here.
writing something or saying something makes a difference. You do it because you...
The big dramatic
and whatever difference it makes comes after that.
drumming did not lead up to any notable turning point here.
It's because they're amateurs.
Maybe the turning point was him leaving Twitter?
I think so.
Maybe the real friends was a Twittery cat all along.
But you left the Twitter.
What?
You left the Twitter.
That's why he doesn't have real friends.
Oh.
Plot twist.
I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen next. Maybe he is gonna have to make a change in how he interacts with the internet.
Yeah.
Tag yourself.
Who's the he that they're talking about?
And we'll see.
Him, I think.
No, but she was talking to him.
But she's also talking to the cameraman.
She was talking to cameraman.
Oh. What? Also, what? Why are you rehashing the same exact footage?
Thematic consistency.
No, this isn't the room. You shouldn't be doing that.
Remember all these shots we had of Arthur walking away from the camera? Let's just put them all together.
Oh, new shot.
Gee, I wonder if they tried to make a point.
Of what? Him running away from his destiny.
Or like him constantly being followed around by the spotlight.
Combo!
Is destiny the spotlight?
Is clan the spotlight?
Thinking, wait, is this just good? Ah! That was not a conclusion!
I don't know why this music is so scary.
This is a bad documentary.
This is a bad documentary.
This is a bad...
What now? Credits. Great.
What?
No, wrong. Ugh.
I feel cheated.
Yeah, it does not tell us what Arthur Chu thinks Arthur Chu is. It does not really tell us what anyone else thinks Arthur Chu is.
It doesn't even really talk about, like...
It doesn't even go on to develop any of the things it started talking about.
It doesn't even talk... Yeah, it doesn't even talk about, like identity or internet fame at all. It just kind of, like, here's a vague summary of what Gamergate is. Here's a bunch of nasty tweets.
Like, it had 120 minutes that it tried to cram in all these things they would have been better served talking about too.
Yeah.
This is like vaguely like your thesis roadmap talk.
Hey, my thesis is more scoped down now.
Nice.
Yeah. Compliant material robots.
Nice.
Oh no, computational, sorry, the first one. Computational material robots. And I can talk about those.
You know, if you replace robots with something that began with an S, it would be a better acronym.
Systems.
Computational material systems? Ugh.
Then you could say you majored
Oh, I
in
could be the
CMS.
CMS lab! The Computational Material Systems lab!
Honestly, like, I think I should put you out of your misery, like, right now.
Right meow.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, this is for the world. Like, we do not need this.
Well, thanks for watching, guys.
I don't think the stream is coming back next week.
Oh, Meower was asking, if you had to pick 2 topics, what would you do? Family and what other theme?
Well, if they wanted to actually answer the question, who is Arthur Chu, they would, like, spend more time developing what he finds important. Because it seems like, and you would, like, run that for the first half to 2/3 of it. Because he starts off being a guy who's, like, wants to change the world and really focus on, dial down on, like, 2 issues that are important to him.
Like social justice?
Like, pivoting on fame to, like, try to tackle social justice in the way that he... on his own terms. And then finding out that that takes a lot of personal effort, and he doesn't want to do that. And then you spend the last third sort of talking about like how he sort of internalizes like having ideals and realizing that he doesn't want to live up to those ideals and like being okay with being a
I think maybe also talking more about like forgiveness, because the stuff in the end was about like I was kind of bitter about my family and then just like allowing
like I think even if you took the exact same footage but you reframed it into a more cohesive story, it would have been fine.
Because like probably the issue is that like it was very chronological with occasional flashbacks.
Yeah, it does not need to be. Like, given that we're already having trouble trying to keep up with the chronology, it does not need to be chronological.
Oh, and your point about like you didn't need to cut to his slides, like there was some like weird editing
This was just amateur hour.
This was really disappointing.
So if you wanted to ask the question, who is Arthur Chu, that's one way to do it. If you want to ask the question, like...
identity in the age of the internet.
Who is the phenomenon of Arthur Chu? Which is, like, you take a guy that, like, has been raised an ideal of this is what America should be, and, like...
Like, America does not belong to you.
And, like, the 2 ideas of making it big, and what next? And then... You are a product of America, but America does not belong to you. Yeah. Like, that is another very powerful way to get through these random clips. But this was not the way to get through these random clips.
So I think probably part of it was because this documentary was kind of like a long time coming, right? Like, they started filming during his Tournament of Champions run. And then I'm actually kind of surprised they kept filming. Because, like, this documentary was supposed to be released, like, a couple of years ago.
Well, probably it's because he kept on, like, social justicing, so they have more things to say.
Yeah, but then, like you said...
But, like, they did not...
They didn't delve into any of the social justice things, other than, like, here's a couple angry tweets.
Yeah, this was amateur hour.
I'm really
They had a lot to work with.
I'm actually really disappointed, because, like, the directors do look young, so not better in hands.
Wait, what do you mean by the directors look young? Did we ever see a face of the directors?
I mean, they probably Googled the directors. But like, that's fine. Like, I'm fine with that. Like, it's more just like...
Like, that's fine. Alternatively, you could, like, even dial it down to, like, what does it mean for a, like, non-white son of immigrants person to, like, sort of, what is his vision of where he lives? Like, what is America to?
Especially going on, like, freaking, like...
What is America in, like,
looking at an Ars Technica article. Yeah. Of, like, looking at, like... Because actually, for me, I felt like the most interesting parts were actually the, like, interactions with him and his parents. Just because I haven't seen a lot of that anywhere of, like... You know, Asian American immigrants.
You mean not caricaturized? Is that a word?
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Like, like what? Like fresh off the boat? Like that hardly counts. It's like Eddie Huang's TV show.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Yeah, like that hardly counts. Yeah. Like, just seeing those, like, raw interactions, I was like, wow, these look like interactions I've had with my own dad and stuff. Like, that was kind of nice. Yeah, like, I think your point about, like, the framing of here he is talking about issues about women in writing and all of these, in gaming and geek culture, and not including his wife at all. I think that was, like, a meta-level framing they weren't thinking about.
I mean, it's amateur hour in the sense that they had all the material that if they wanted to tell a cohesive story, they clearly could. Like, in the sense that I can, like, piece together a meta-framing thing from, like, something that was probably accidental. Either that or they switched directors halfway through and forgot about it. Which is also possible.
Amateur hour.
Amateur hour.
Like,
I'm really disappointed in this, actually.
In the sense that if we're going full on CMS, where like the presentation and the framing is like a major part of the message, like that is the thing that they're missing here. It's not the content.
I mean, I think one thing that's just helping me is, so Brinkema is like trying to help me write the paper, and she was like, actually, I think the hardest part for you is going to be thinking about how you want to tell your story. And she keeps using this term thick description, which is how... I knew you were going to say that. Thick! I knew you were going to say that.
I did.
Which is that...
You didn't?
Which is that in anthropology, right? You don't just want to say, like, these people that were studying did XYZ. You want to add in the social context behind their actions. So instead of just like a thin description of what they're doing, it's a thick description because it has all of the context around it.
Yeah, same thing.
Like, this was clearly a thin description.
Like, same thing with what biology has to deal with, what economics has to deal with. Like, it is a very large, complex, opaque problem, and how do you tackle it is just as important as the content. Because since it's so large and complex, anyone can like throw darts at something and then get some results out, but whether that actually tells the story that you're meaning to tell is why you need it.
Oh, like how you get on the kid's case about like jumping spiders, like whether their like experiments actually mean anything.
Well, yeah, if we want to like dial down on biology, is because you can like tell cells to like multiply a plate of cells by like 6 million, and like you'll get statistical significance no matter what. So what is it that you're actually trying to manipulate here?
Yeah. God, I'm very disappointed in this. I wish that the Ars Technica article didn't hype it up, because like the questions about like, oh, what does identity mean in like the modern age, and what does it mean when your online persona becomes a bigger part of your identity? Those are like better questions.
So I'm going to
were asked by this.
So I'm going to couch my disappointment here. It's important.
Yeah.
That...
Meower also says I want a little more of the siblings because they actually framed Arthur pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
couching your disappointment.
I'm going to couch my disappointment. Like, it's important that they produce this. Like, this is an important documentary if you're like following this route of this is a social change that needs to happen, because you need people to champion like your wave of social justice, and he is a good person to point to despite being flawed, and that no one has told his story before is sort of indicative of how hard and complex of how do you get at the concepts that they're starting to point at. So hopefully people will like watch this thing and like, this was garbage framing, let's do it again, and like more people will be drawn to it.
I think what was interesting is I first heard about this documentary because I was reading about like a lot about Jeopardy. Like I know way more about Jeopardy than I ever really wanted to know.
I wonder why.
But like one of the things I found was like Arthur giving like, oh, like, here's, like, my, like, 10 tips that aren't actually helpful for Tournament of Champions, but would be nice to know. Like, when you walk to the restaurants, don't put your hand on the railing, because in the summertime, there's a ton of ants on it. And sure enough, when I, like, walked by this railing, I saw a ton of ants on the railing. And I was like, thank you, Arthur. And so, like, one of the things he was talking about was, like, you know, like, sometimes I just want to, like, sit around in my underwear and, like, study for Jeopardy coming up, but you can't do that because there's a million camera crews around, which is why I'm even more impressed, or like impressed / disappointed they let him sit in the backwards undershirt t-shirt.
They probably did that on purpose.
Like, put your t-shirt on backwards. Like,
probably.
If anything, he should be aware of like what image means, right?
Like
that's the one thing that I've come out of
Depends.
this, of being like hyper aware of like.
Depends. Like, let's be fair. he as an actor in this documentary is not necessarily him, the social activist, is not necessarily him, the person. And probably how either they were trying to sell this to him, this framing to him, or how they thought the framing was going to be is you take this geeky guy who like is one of the nerdy kids with no social interactions and no social persona and no tact whatsoever.
Yeah.
Which is part of like you put him you throw him in a different set of experiences. He's not the kid who grows up to do Jeopardy and like be told all along that he is terrible at social interaction but does social justice anyway.
Yeah.
Instead, he's one of like the angry Twitter ranter people who are perpetuating Gamergate. Like that's a very easy thing to imagine him becoming.
Yeah.
And that just even like helps the image of you take this guy who's wearing his t-shirt backwards, full of like staticky CRTs in the background,
right,
with bad lighting and pimples and what have you, and he's actually talking about like we should be better. Like a perfectly reasonable framing, except that they skipped back and forth and didn't tell that story either. So it's sort of unclear what they meant.
Like, I was very struck by like putting him in this contrived place because it was obviously contrived.
Is it?
Right? Sitting in front of a whole bunch of CRTs.
But like I would believe if someone told me that this is how he actually dressed before somebody like told him to get his act together.
I see.
Like I would believe it.
I see.
And if I were like looked exactly like him, believed in the
big purses? How do you feel about
believed in like
big purses?
Yeah.
I don't have pockets. I find this more useful than pockets.
For the same reason that Roy Moore thinks it's acceptable for him to be riding a horse.
Yeah.
To
vote. Yeah.
Right. He wants to be like, this is how I want to be perceived.
About you know, I'm sort of this grungier image.
These are my people, and therefore my message should resonate with you, and you should pay attention.
Yeah. Meower asks, can he even get away from this grungy image because he's a guy?
I mean, yes, you immediately got away from it once he stopped wearing his shirt backwards. You kind of saw like his as you move past the Jeopardy section where he just kind of vilified and into like the social justice thing, his shirts become progressively more fitted and the lighting becomes more favorable to him.
Right.
I think that's conscious on their part.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are 2 items in my life, amongst many other items, that I've never been. We can also talk in the kitchen.
Oh yeah. I mean, also, I was sort of interested in your take because you shared the Slate Star Codex post about like Arthur Chu's thing, and I sort of skimmed it.
I know very little of it outside that. Like, I guess sort of it was him saying like we should be fighting dirty for social justice. Like it is worth it, and we should not expect our enemies to play nice if we play nice.
Right.
And Scott Alexander opposing this and saying we can create social contracts out of nothing, and we can build a place where people are friendly to each other even if they hate each other, and we should do so.
Okay.
So Arthur Chu was like we should fight dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like it is okay to spread lies about people and slander people and get people fired from their jobs in the name of feminism. And
that's not okay.
Like,
yeah.
It's a very twisted take.
Yeah.
It's well intentioned, but it's very twisted.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess when they're done, I'm gonna talk to her more about like because I'm kind of curious about why she came over to watch. But sorry, what were we talking about for this?
Tailored shirts.
they're not about like this grungy image.
Yeah, like I don't know. As a cis hetero person, I find men attractive, and it is very easy to make someone look more attractive by just wearing better fitting clothes.
I mean, I also think that like
also the lighting is important.
Like I think one thing that I've realized is that like I'm like hard on dadcore right now. But like
I don't know, I'm in frisbee shorts.
Yeah, but I mean like one thing that I've realized is that like schmuckitude is like, you know, gender neutral.
Schmuckitude is gender neutral and it's also a choice.
Yeah.
Apathy is a choice.
Yeah.
It's sort of like an odd nuance to that I think like I sort of came to realize and didn't know until like midway through college, but apathy is a choice. Apathy in like how you dress and how well you use tact. Like all sorts of things. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you figure out which purse you like?
Nah.
Okay. None of them? Yeah, I'm kind of curious. What were you interested in seeing from this documentary? I guess we kind of talked a lot, yeah.
I'm not really sure. I feel like I sort of drifted over here to socialize, but...
Oh, okay.
And
Well,
I guess I really knew very little about Arthur 2 aside from the
from that post
and the thing that Pranchel posted about him being mean to his wife or something, which...
I mean, that was Eliza's blog.
Yeah.
And you saw Eliza, the documentary.
Yeah.
That was his wife, and then they separated. Like I said, I learned a lot more about Jeopardy than I wanted to, and
there's something where he was advocating using dirty tactics for social justice, but then it seems like he found himself on the receiving end of some of that stuff as well.
I mean, I think that's partly why. I don't know when the Slate Star Codex post was posted, but it seemed like that might have been why he was more for it, being on the receiving side, being they're unscrupulous in their tactics. Jeez. I just think about the freaking case where they got really mad at the Steven Universe artist for not being body positive in the way they were drawing someone.
That one fan artist who got death threats over.
Yeah, so I'm just come on, there's no way that you can whatever. Anyways.
Yeah, I remember reading about that. Also, I think that's also on Slate Star Codex, making the Simpsons arguments we need to stop this bullying culture in the social justice movement and.
Yeah, but anyways, I mean, I thought it was funny because
it's really hard to sort of avoid dogpiling on people that you think are just wrong, right? There's a very blurry line between not bullying and bullying, and honestly, that blurry line is just public opinion.
Yeah, and I feel when 1,000 different people are all calling someone out, then that is going to hurt no matter how nice they're trying to be about it.
I mean, but that's the power and also the danger of vigilante justice in the first place, is that yes, you don't have to work through existing power structures, but then those structures were there not just to perpetuate, power trees. It turns out due process is a good thing.
Yeah.
It turns out that protecting minorities is important whether you're the minority or the majority.
Yeah.
For exactly this reason.
Yeah. But
in general, dogpiling just doesn't age.
But also
I feel I had a lot of debates with people about the ethics of use of force, around the whole punch Nazi thing.
Yeah.
And eventually I don't feel it came to a solid resolution. I just stopped getting into these conversations because I knew that it would not be pleasant for anyone.
Yeah, but also, since you brought up the Slate Star Codex post, I thought that this documentary was going to be there's this...
We thought a lot of things about this documentary, including quality.
But, I thought that would be one of the things that they talked about when they're we're not sure whether we should portray this in black or white. I was thinking, they're going to talk about this thing, about, how do you lash out against the haters, right? But, it was very glossed over. It was just, I could have... I feel this documentary was, basically, the Wikipedia article, but, with more videos and, of, things. I like the Alex Trebek sections because those are very clearly, he knows how to go around a camera and, not, what's the word? It's not political correctness, but, politeness. It's this thing where the Southerners will say "bless your heart" because they don't want to offend you outright, but he's very good at that "bless your heart" kind of idea. Tact. It's a little more camera ready than just tact.
To be fair, I think he has a lot more practice than most of the people interviewed in this documentary.
30 years. Yeah. Meower says, and not for one person to carry the burden of fixing the world according to their perspective. I think that's probably talking about dogpiling scenarios.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little hard because stream's on a lag.
Yeah. No, I agree. I kind of see instances of it almost fairly regularly. It's sort of unclear when it's time to call out a majority for doing anything, even if you personally agree with them or not. Yeah. Lag for life. That wasn't that much lag. It seems. Or perhaps it was, and we just didn't notice until now.
Let's see. What was the other thing? Yeah, I mean that's what I've been sort of thinking is that one of my friends around dinner time was oh, did you hear Morgan Freeman jumped on the Me Too train? And I was I'm phrasing. I think you meant more of like driven under the Me Too, like pushed under the Me Too train.
Was Morgan Freeman
I don't know.
accused for making an accusation or
Getting accused.
Mm.
So I guess the better analogy is try to jump on the moving Me Too train and then realize that the wheels were slightly too low. Got run over.
Meower is a slow typer. No, you're not. You often have good, helpful things when we're playing video games. That's always timely. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm just thinking about that because, like, in some ways, like, the Me Too stuff is just, like, a continuous, like, momentum of this vigilante justice thing, and I think it's good to, like, get the actors out, but, like, at the same time, it's, like, kind of trampling the gray area discussion about, like, Junot Diaz and Aziz, I feel like.
The difference between vigilante justice and codified justice is people are impatient about timescales.
So actually,
and codified justice, I think everyone can agree, works on too slow of a timescale to be effective.
Yeah.
I got into this discussion last night at the book club I was at because we read this book of essays about various topics in sex and sexuality, and one of them was an essay by the blogger who got involved in the Steubenville rape case and started digging up people's tweets and things and making this a thing that the whole country was paying attention to. And, like, was this blogger, like, saying that she really does not regret her actions and, like, she feels like she did the right thing and...
Yeah, she got a lot of hate, I remember, from the, like, Steubenville community.
Yeah, and, like, one of the people who had also read this book was, like, saying that his impression from, like, the on-the-media pieces he'd been listening to and, like, the sources he'd heard was that the police chief was, like, doing a good job investigating this and trying to, like, do this properly, do this right, and talk to people on this ground. And then the blogger brought a lot of heat on this and blew it up way more than needed to be, complicated the investigation, and now the police chief is getting death threats still that she wouldn't have been otherwise.
I see.
So this person at the book club was saying that he really did not agree with this blogger's actions. And there are various people in different perspectives on, like, how much should you trust the police to, like, be on top of things and not just, like, be quietly letting issues die, and...
Yeah. Because I'm also, like, I read an article recently about, like, apparently, like, a ton of rape kits just, like, sit in evidence rooms and don't get analyzed even. And just, like, how there was, you know, discussion about that, like, how to actually, like, help the system and things like that. I'm also thinking about, like, student government discussions where, you know, protest is the most, like, gratifying thing. It feels like the most direct course of action, but it does hurt existing processes. I guess that was your point. It does hurt existing processes and, like, doesn't actually do as much as, like, if you work through existing channels. So then, like, for me at least, like, protest should be when you think the existing channels are, like really broken.
Yeah.
Or, like, that you coordinate with the existing channels to happen. For me personally, I think student government at MIT is at this point where we should just be protesting all the time. But so it goes.
Yeah, like, it seems like we keep trying to do things through channels and it just does not work, and...
Yeah. Although it is also very true that MIT has more student participation in the official channels than the average university. Because you can just look at Stanford and they get screwed over. But I kind of see that same, like, interplay between, like, formal and informal channels of, like, what you're talking about, the Steubenville case. Seems like...
Yeah, and, like, the person who was, like, opposed to the blogger was saying that, like, he heard that the police chief had reached out to the blogger and said, hey, look, we are doing this, we're trying to do this right, please back off a bit and let us investigate our case.
Yeah.
And the blogger did not do so.
Yeah.
That he thinks that was the point where it crossed the line into being irresponsible and negligent.
So Meower points out that Me Too has a tough question. What is the punishment? Should it be? Is it the same for everyone, accused or rumored? And what is the severity of the offense? And also, does it depend on the severity of the offense? I mean, I think that's kind of what we were talking about in terms of, like, these gray area cases are the same, and, like, it is sort of like, once you get the outrage machine going, it's not like a due process thing where you can sort of set it.
I mean, sort of Me Too is not just the consent question, which is in of itself a very complex question. It's also the question of, like, defining what is defamation and defining what is a power dynamic. And, like, for the same reason that, like, it is hard to put someone in jail for bribery or fraud or defamation. Instead, you get them on like tax evasion or what have you. Like, consent is what everyone would like to sort of pin down, and as far as punishments go, but it's sort of unclear whether that actually gets to the case.
I didn't think about it as like Me Too is not just about consent; it's also about what is defamation. I think that's an interesting point.
I mean, it's
it's
about
really pairing with Aziz Ansari, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's about what defamation is. It's about what consent is. It's also like what is assault, and also what is acting in bad faith, because all of these are kind of intertwined.
Yeah, I mean, I had only viewed like the controversy around Aziz as being like, what is consent? But I never thought about it as like it's also like what is the punishment, right? Yeah. But I mean, like, with something as complicated as like continued sexual assault and like, I don't know the term, prejudice in the workplace, like, yeah, all these questions kind of come up all at once. It's not really like you can extract just one and satisfy.
Yeah, especially given like the system of codified law that we have, which is dependent on case studies and precedent.
Yeah.
Right? Like, those are so powerful that every time it comes up, you have to take it in individual context, but you also have to think about what are the repercussions of establishing this kind of precedent.
The precedent, yeah.
And for that reason, like, it's really hard.
Ugh. Oh. This is my...
It looks like there are lots of cases where just bad cases with bad facts will lead to bad precedent.
Well, I mean, I'm also
I'm
also thinking about Plessy versus Ferguson, where like Plessy literally sat around a train like for a whole day so that they could get like they could try to kick him off the train so that they could have the case.
Yeah, like, people might find like model defendants who will like be the most sympathetic possible when they're trying to test important laws.
Yeah,
like particular case in point is Rosa Parks. They had like 2 other contestants for this bus, and they're like, nope, can't do that. We need a cleaner slate.
Yeah, also the Abigail Fisher case.
Alternatively, even like U.S. Revolutionary War, like fought you on the backs of a third of the population actually caring.
Yeah.
Right, and the other 2/3 are completely apathy.
The court systems can also be biased, so it's like, what kind of, you need to find your model. That's what Piauer says. The court system is biased. You have to find your model defendant. You have to hope that the right justices are in office.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's because like law and like most other things worth arguing about, like even timeliness, sort of in the space of 2 years, you can have a completely different lens of how you think about, or how public opinion thinks about something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was listening to the really cool podcast. I think it might have been New York Times, The Daily, on Amherst, about them. Was it Amherst? I don't know. Small liberal arts college, actually. Doing a thing on consent, and then.
Oh yeah.
And then getting completely lampooned by Saturday Night Live, like, haha, this is dumb.
These snowflakes. Well, this was also.
This was before snowflake. Snowflake was a word.
These kids these days.
In that sense, yeah.
Get those Tories out of our country. Yeah, and then like that skit just does not age well. Turns out.
That skit does not age well, and also what's interesting is like, what's it? The
I also feel like a lot of like consent education that does happen in colleges feels very heavy-handed and one-size-fits-all. And
the consent comics
yeah,
suck. Oh, they put consent comics in the Infinite, and I like the ones that they had before. They had posters before where it was just like mixed gender couples, and they're all being like, "Can I ... or like, is it okay if I
literally portrayed the situation?"
Yeah, well, the situation right now is that there's 2 people, and they're like, "Is it okay if I kiss you?" And then the other person's like, "Oh, yes, yes, yes!" And it's just really awkward.
Yeah, just like a lot of the language felt really still, like some people have, like I talked about it, have commented on, like, it feels like the dude is kind of babying the woman and kind of like, here is how to ask for consent for things, here is how to ask questions.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Reminds me of those
Stay hydrated.
Those Dare comics that are like, this is like,
Oh, yeah.
when people tell you you want some drugs, kid, like you say no, and it's like that's not how you get approached with drugs. You realize, like
I feel like it sparked all the good conversations at my living group about like, first of all, like who is consent education for, who should be targeted at, and what sorts of messages do the people we're targeting that need what they need to learn.
I really liked the ones before where it was just a bunch of mixed gender couples and they were like hugging each other or like sitting close to each other and their faces were covered and they're like, is it okay if I ...
Yeah,
can I do this?
like,
Are you
this
comfortable
like,
if I...
cute and cool and simple.
Yeah. I felt...
The tea video?
I don't know what tea video...
I don't know.
Oh yeah,
what
the consent is like giving someone a cup
Oh.
of tea.
Oh, that one. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one was also like cute and funny and like it didn't feel preachy in the same way. Like
Meower says, I felt strange when a high schooler said she had seen the video several times, both like sad and also like good-ish.
So, do you remember the campaigns against bullying that you probably saw at like very different age ranges? And when you're like a small kid, you're like, don't bully. Bullying is bad. If you see someone bullying, tell them no. And if they keep on bullying, get your friends and beat them up because bullying is, or something like that. Like when you're like a small kid and like don't realize that the world is not just about like good guys versus bad guys, but when you're that age, like there are good guys and there are bad guys, and you need to be a good guy, right? It's kind of how I feel about these consent comics. Like for certain age ranges, the comics make sense. But if you've like outgrown the comics and they're still being presented to you, then it becomes stilted.
And like, I mean, I feel like sometimes I wondered, like, do these materials even make an impact on the people who need education about consent and about bullying the most? Like, I remember, like, I think in high school or something, there was some video that could play in the announcements about, like, homophobia and bullying and stuff, and, like, this is bad, don't do it, and then, like, the people sitting next to me were just, like, kind of, but, yeah, like, geez, put the shit where shit don't go, that's just fucked up, and...
Well, my take on it has always been like if you're the person who gets really bored and like this is an obvious, if this isn't,
they're laughing at your bullying techniques. Don't bully. Conscript a gang to stop bullying.
Like what's it? Tom and Jerry. One's an asshole and the other one's a bully, but one is bigger than the other. So whatever. Anyway, I forget what train of thought I was on.
But like, I feel like the problem is that like sometimes like when you're trying to like teach people some pro-social lesson, if they feel like you're trying to teach them a thing, they'll like won't reject it.
So my take on it is always like if you are just nodding along like this is dumb as rocks obvious, like you are not the target audience. The target audience is someone who does not know how to socially interact with people.
But like I think for something like consent where it's like I think part of the one of the issues with consent is that like wow, it seems really awkward to just like stop having like sexy times and be like, is it okay if I do this?
That's like is that it? Like, are we targeting people who don't know, people who don't care, both, and do we need different tactics for those two groups? And
I mean, it usually is a two-pronged approach. It's for people who don't know. It's like this is a prescriptive like, don't be a dummy, like consent exists and you should know about it. Yeah. And for the people who don't care, it's everybody else believes in it through this lens. Well, no, and if you are a bad person, they will like.
I mean, I think there's like
socially shame you.
There's a third group where it's like I don't like. I know that consent is important, and I know that I should care about it, but I don't know like how to do it. Right? Of like also like a lot of people feeling anxiety about like how to have sex for the first time.
Yeah, and like I feel like displaying these like comics with this like here's really weird, stilted, awkward communication styles that you would never actually use with a human being.
Yeah.
Is really nothing to help these people.
My beef with these comics is the same beef I have with WebMD trying to tell you that everything you have is a symptom of cancer.
I see.
Right? It sort of is in the same like, wow, the needle is way on the other side, but there is a needle and it does exist and there is a center ground and it's not on either side.
I see. Anyways, Arthur True, man. What a disappointing documentary.
What a disappointing documentary, and what a like interestingly self-aware and then self-oblivious person.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think.
Like self-aware in that like understanding he used to be part of these like thought processes, but also like not aware of like his own prickliness.
Sort of like very self-aware of the effect that sort of where he comes from, how he grew up, affects his views on things.
Yeah.
And also how that fits into national context.
Uh-huh.
But also so oblivious on...
Like, one-on-one?
That his prickliness or what have you affects how he's perceived by people.
Uh-huh.
And whether or what effect that has on the message that he's trying to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Because what is being transmitted and what is being received are never the same thing, and I think it's sort of unclear whether from this documentary whether that is known or whether that's completely oblivious.
I think the anger video was pretty good about that, of like his anger about Gamergate, and he's just really confused about like, you know, like, oh, this is the worst 24 hours of my life, but like he doesn't, like, framing could have helped, although Gamergate's also hard. Yeah, Meower is kind of agreeing with us and like, so consent is tied in with trust, what's normal / expected, and communication. Yeah.
A blockchain. Just kidding.
Consent on the...
That fucking exists!
Oh yeah, it does! I remember you sending out consent on the blockchain. You can create a contract which you can update at any time about your consent status.
Yeah, and you upload the contract to the blockchain so there's a decentralized record of exactly what sexual activities you have agreed to, and
so like if you like suddenly say like, oh, I don't actually want to have sex, you can pull out your phone and like change the contract, but it's okay because it's on the blockchain. So then if anything legal happens, they can just refer back to the contract on the blockchain. Blockchain is greater than real human communication, says Twitch chat. Kappa.
I forget whether this was like a talk or whether this was some dumb medium thingamajig. They're one and the same. But basically like modeling social reputations as a collective ledger / blockchain. Because your ledger is public record and it is whatever the majority thinks their consensus about.
How do you feel about consent on the blockchain? It exists. How do you feel about reputation on the blockchain?
I think exists. Either that or I made it up in a dream.
That is the worst idea.
Oh, so like when in the middle of sexy times, you're gonna pull out your phone and be like, excuse me, let me update my consent contract on the blockchain.
Like, if it's like a super quick thing, right? Like, not an intrusive thing that takes like 5 minutes to, like, if it's like a few button pushes or whatever to verify.
I think it's
helpful.
I think it's a very legal approach.
Yeah, I think it's just like you draft up a written contract about like what you're comfortable with people doing with your body in like very precise detail.
Yeah, I think
like, you write a EULA for your body is how the article described it.
Yeah.
Theoretically, you would have communicated, like, ideally, theoretically, you would have communicated this with the partner anyways.
Yeah.
But just like EULAs, does either party actually read this?
Like, it's a very legal solution to, I think, like, a very social problem.
I mean, in the sense that sort of feeds back
into... I mean, maybe that's what's required these days.
It sort of feeds back into the problem.
And, like, I feel like it doesn't solve the problem of, like, you're doing sex and someone, like, realizes they aren't okay with something they thought they were okay with and says stop, and then...
I mean, it's...
And now you have a legal record that you agreed to do the thing, so clearly it was consensual, and...
I mean, it's not perfect. Nothing is, but isn't it better than isn't it a better starting point than
I would say it achieves nothing.
Yeah, I think it's actually...
I would say it achieves nothing because you get the exact same problem of the current discourse of person A proposes something, person B either didn't read the TOS or interpreted something else from the TOS, either accepts or declines. Person A receives either acceptance or decline and either interprets that wrongly or interprets that correctly and proceeds, and no one is happy.
And also I feel like if people are worried about oh, I don't know how to do consent non-awkwardly in the middle of my sexy times, let's pull out our phones and write a fucking legal contract. Does not seem like an improvement.
Yo, what were you gonna say?
I don't have any experience with this, but I've talked with people and they're like on kink dating sites or hookup sites or whatever. Mm-hmm. What you want physically is more explicitly laid out before anything happens.
Yeah, it's like a well-known thing that people like who are interested in kink are like much significantly better at communication because of this reason. But it's still different from a legal document, and it's still you can quit out of like a scene at any time.
Yeah, like
which would not, and especially in a kink situation where you might not even be physically able to change your document status.
Yeah, like and like people are generally like very good and conscientious about like pre-negotiation and like, but it's still like a fluid thing that like we don't need to like nail down things. Like we can react to the situation and like feel out what we're okay with and just proceed carefully and make sure not to violate each other's boundaries. But I feel like consent and sex and intimacy has a lot of things that really can't be nailed down in writing in that way. Like I feel like it's a more human thing than that.
I feel like I don't really.
I mean, my opinion about consent is my same opinion about like herd immunity and vaccinations. Like the main point is to have a majority awareness of you should actually communicate with people, because what you think is consent, sort of implicit consent, isn't always what like what's it, soap operas tell you it is, or romance or what have you.
Yeah, and I think if you're communicating at all about your preferences, then you are probably not going to fuck up too badly. And if your method of communicating is to draft a contract and read it over and put it on the blockchain, then that's something, I guess, and you do you. It just does not feel like the way I would want to talk about sex with a partner.
Anyways, Arthur Chu.
Make your billions.
These millennials can't communicate IRL, Kappa.
Is that actually Kappa?
That's a Kappa.
What is a Kappa?
Have you never seen a Kappa in real life? That's a Kappa.
That is not a Greek letter.
Oh, it's actually the name of the Japanese mythological figure, the turtle with the bowl on his head.
That is not a turtle.
Yeah, so that was that guy's username, and he was an employee at Justin TV, and he was making a funny face, and his username was Kappa after the Japanese mythological figure.
I see.
So that's why he has this face.
Okay.
He's very famous. That's a Kappa.
I see.
There's a website you can go to see how many Kappas are being put on Twitch per minute.
Okay.
Anyways, I think we're pretty discoursed out. I don't know if you have any closing words. Do you know who is Arthur Chu?
Not from this documentary.
No. Who is Lily Chin?
I'm gonna make my lab the CMS lab. It's either that or I need to figure out an acronym with LTC. Because we have confirmation that my lab is the DRL because it's the Daniela Roos lab. And she was just coming up with acronyms that would fit it. We have confirmation now. From older grad students. It's the lab of something. Technical communication. Except I'm not in technical communication at all.
The lab of trolling in CMS.
Ah, there we go. Alright. Gold Kappa is still a thing? I don't know, but Kappa Ross is a thing. That's all I need. Anyways, thanks for joining us. Meower, I think you're the last one standing. Appreciate you joining in on the discourse. Sorry that the documentary was a piece of garbage, but hey, discourse.
Discourse.
Alright, see ya.